Celtic against Dundee with Michael Stewart and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks, Kenny. Welcome to Celtic Park as the league leaders aim to extend their fabulous home record against the Dundee side, smarting from Saturday's stumping at home to Hearts. That left them precariously close to the relegation playoff spot, despite some impressive results of late, not least the 3-3 draw that was within a whisker of being a win over the champions just 3 weeks ago. The two sides have just emerged from the tunnel, and Dundee break off away to our right-hand side, all in navy blue, looking to salvage some pride after that mauling at home, which Tony Docherty described as an anomaly, and I have to say, it came completely out of the blue. For most people, I think, it was Trevor Carson, who's Dundee skipper tonight, and Callum McGregor go through the coin toss with referee Colin Stephen. Callum McGregor was presented with a framed top with 500 on the back of it to commemorate his 500th appearance, which was made against Motherwell at the weekend, presented to him by his manager Brendan Rodgers. And now the skipper makes his way towards his teammates and into the huddle just pre-match here. And you imagine there'll be many more appearances in a Celtic jersey for Callum McGregor over the next few years, and no doubt many more trophies to follow, already equal with Billy McNeil on 23. That's Celtic breaking out of the huddle, and we are just a bit ready to get underway. Michael spoke about the need for Dundee to avoid losing an early goal. They went behind very early on to their own former player Luke McCowan in that 3-3 thriller at Dens, but recovered. And we're leading just into the final seconds, but we're underway as Dundee, going from right to left in this first period, get us underway, and immediately launched long up towards Adewumi, and Celtic pick up possession over on the left-hand side.
The first thing I would say, Jota's on the left, interestingly. Maeda's actually starting on the right, Jota over on that left-hand side.
Well, it's where you feel he's strongest. Here's Maeda, though, almost latching onto a through ball on the right-hand side. It's interesting that Brendan Rodgers chooses to accommodate Jota, because he clearly shares that feeling that he is stronger there, but Maeda is probably better on the left-hand side as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but I was talking about this at the weekend. It brings up an interesting dynamic, and I feel if you're looking to get Jota up to speed as quickly as possible, that's where he feels most comfortable, and that's where I think you'd get him up to speed quicker.
Well, here he is in possession on that left-hand side, exchanging passes with Arne Engels and looking to dazzle the Dundee defence with some footwork, but Celtic have lost possession. Hatate losing out in a 50-50 with Simon Murray, and Mulligan trying to move down the right-hand side, runs into Greg Taylor. It's out for a Dundee throw-in on the far side. Pleased to say that my prediction of who the wing-backs were going to be has proved correct, with Mulligan on the right and Ethan Ingram on the left, and Finlay Robertson taking his place in the midfield. As you were saying, thanks Michael for that pat in the back you're giving me right now. I know it always pleases you when I get things like that right. It happens so seldom, but do you think that's the best way for Dundee to line up? You were talking about how effective Josh Mulligan at least has been on the right hand side.
Oh, he's been a very, very good outlet for Dundee on that right hand side, playing wing back. I've seen him in a number of games where he's caused the opposition constant problems, so yeah, I don't think there's any question that he's in the starting lineup. He's going to play in that area. He's got great energy.
Jota quickly closed down by Mulligan. Celtic pick up possession at the back. It's Trusty, who had a really torrid time, has to be said, at Dens Park, and Brendan Rodgers has kept faith with him since. He was critical of his defending on that night, especially for the Aaron Donnelly goal. Here's Jota left hand side, plays it back to Hatate about 30 yards from goal. He's going to go for goal, and it's Trevor Carson pushing it away with Maeda closing down. And Carson would have been concerned that Maeda might just have got a nick in front of him, but Carson did well to push it away, and it's out for a throw and quickly taken as Celtic pick up and look for that early goal. That would have been inside 3 minutes had that one found the back of the net, but Dundee still on level terms in the opening exchanges here as McGregor plays out to Jota, left hand side, again up against Mulligan. This time he hits the byline, stands up a good cross. Ida was lurking, comes out to Johnson in the end, who volleys it way over the top, and it will be a Dundee goal kick. 3 minutes played, Celtic 0, Dundee 0.
Yeah, Alistair Johnson didn't look overly convinced with that he was going to hit the target with it. But there's another example where the quality on the left hand side when Jota's there with his delivery, right or left foot, dropping the shoulder, a step over, hitting the byline, putting into a dangerous area. I mean, I tell you, the likes of Adam Ida is going to be looking forward to that that quality of delivery coming into the box and just starting to build up a relationship and an understanding of when that ball's coming in.
Is it easy for the likes of Rio Hatate to immediately rediscover that kind of link up with Jota over on that left hand side, would you imagine?
Regardless of whether he even played with them before or not, because it's a quality player. And quality players, they're on the same wavelength. You know, they'll enjoy playing with each other, and not just the two of them, but the team as a whole.
Is Maida doing really well to keep that in play? The ball was played just behind him by Johnston, and it's knocked out of play by Ingram. Celtic on the right hand side with a throw in about 15 yards from the corner flag, back the way to Carter Vickers, and then Callum McGregor comes to collect about 20 yards inside Dundee territory. 4.5 played, 0-0 as Trusty gets it to Taylor, and infield to Hatate, plays it square to Carter Vickers, down the right hand side for Johnston. Dundee, everyone back in their own defensive third at the moment as they try to keep Celtic at bay, as Maida is shoved by Ingram but gets the pass off to Carter Vickers and now collects it back. In field he goes to Engels, midway inside Dundee territory, back to Trusty as Celtic look to find an opening. They'll be patient initially and then just look to burst into action when the opportunity presents itself. Here's Jota trying to make some headway. It's knocked back to the keeper though by Adewumi. He goes long looking for Simon Murray. Trusty though nods it down, but only to Adewumi. Adewumi will pick up just outside the centre circle. In steps Carter Vickers and nonchalantly just steps away. He's just always looks so composed, and it's out to the left hand side, and it's Jota with a good first touch. Left hand side of the penalty area up against Mulligan. Lovely little flick. Hatate into the area, taken by Trevor Carson, with Maida again looking to get on the end of it, but the trickery from Jota is so audacious, and he barely looks like he's been away.
Yeah, well, one of his first touches there actually got caught under his feet, and he didn't want to and couldn't continue the attack himself, but he's got such quick feet. He then just repositioned himself and flicked it around the corner to Hatate. Lovely bit of link up there between the two of them.
Here's Silla, who you imagine will be very important for Dundee tonight, breaking stuff up in the middle of the park and spotting danger, putting out fires before Celtic can really set light to this game, as Mulligan picks up right hand side under pressure from Jota and then knocked back to the keeper by Astley. Clark Robertson is the man who's dropped out of the back three after that punishing result, as Engels catches a Dundee player in the face there with a high boot, and it will be a free kick. Antonio Portales back into marshal things at the heart of the defence. It was Finn Robertson who took a boot to the face there, but he's up and he's okay, and it'll be a free kick to Dundee in the halfway line. We've played 6.5 minutes. You listen to Sports Sound in this midweek fixture, rearranged of course from a week past Saturday, with the bad weather caused some structural damage here at Celtic Park, but a wee treat for us on this Wednesday night to break up the week, which should have been otherwise almost without top level Scottish football, as Donnelly prepares to take the free kick on the halfway line. Dundee with an opportunity to try and cause some problems here as it's played up into the penalty. It's going to come through for Adewumi, across goal, and might have gone for goal. Instead, the referee spotted something in there. Maybe the foul has been given for the infringement by Simon Murray on Carter Vickers, because it evaded him and got through to Adewumi. There was no one in the middle, and either he was well off target with his shot, or he was trying to square it to absolutely nobody.
Well, I think it was clearly the challenge with Carter Vickers that he's flagged, because the linesman never put his flag up. There was no offside. I think that was it was a little bit soft. I think it was quite like what we saw for Motherwell's goal, to be honest, at the weekend.
Yeah, and there's a chance for Adewumi. Here he goes again, up against Trusty, and he checks back away from him, and then Johnston comes in and makes the challenge, and Adewumi's taking a sore one in there. The Canadian making a challenge. Is the referee giving a free kick for that challenge?
No, I think he's given a shy.
Just a throw in. Anyway, it will be Dundee getting up the park in these last 60 seconds or so for the first time in the game. 8 minutes in though, and no goals as yet, but Aaron Donnelly's long throw-ins caused some problems in that 3-3 as well, and he's going to launch one into the penalty area here from the left-hand side, about 20 yards from the corner flag. Dundee looking to shock the hosts here with the opening goal. It's flicked on at the near post and then worked into the 6-yard box, and Kasper Schmeichel forced into the save there. The effort eventually coming in from Astley, but comfortable take in the end for the keeper. And Celtic trying to burst forward, but it's all the way through to Trevor Carson. Almost 9 minutes on the clock. Celtic 0, Dundee 0. Launched up towards Murray. Trusty climbing all over him. Adewumi's going to latch onto it, but the free kick has gone against Dundee. Again, it's not clear, is it, for Adewumi's challenge. Murray just allowed Trusty to jump. He stood still, and he's making a complaint that he should have had the free kick for that challenge.
I think it is that challenge that he's given the free kick for. I just can't see how you could penalise Simon Murray for that. I mean, the game played on. It was a bit of a 50-50 after it.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, for me, that's, you don't give a free kick against Simon Murray for that.
Here's Jota picking up towards the edge of the box. Robertson in the way though. Just tries to stab it clear. In slides Carter Vickers to get there ahead of Murray. Well, time challenge there from the centre back, and now it's picked up by Engels. Midway inside the Dundee half. Johnston out to Maida on the right hand side. Back with Engels. Time to measure across here towards the back post. Had to be watched all the way by Mulligan. Was Jota looking to latch onto it. It was a good clearing header, and Garza picks up his first taste of Celtic Park, and he's lost it. And now it's Engels who's slotted in that injury time penalty in the 3-3, having come on as a sub, and now he plays it down the line for Johnston, almost at the byline. Goes back the way though to Engels, and the angle of the box, right hand side, square for Taylor, but 30 yards from goal. Into Hatate, who tries to curl it to the top corner, and he gets it wrong. It's a good couple of yards over the top. That was a presentable chance here for Hatate, 20 yards from goal, but he couldn't keep it down. And so after 10.5 minutes, it's Celtic 0, Dundee 0.
That was a good opportunity for Hatate, right in the middle of the goal, at 20 yards out. Lots of space, which is a concern for Dundee in a dangerous area like that. Celtic had worked it well, got Hatate on the edge of the box, plenty of space. His first touch wasn't too bad either. He'll be disappointed he's not able to have that strike on goal.
Hatate forces it forward out to the right hand side for Maida, who will catch it before it goes out of play. Almost at the corner flag. Now he plays it back to Hatate, who tries to fire it in near post, but Carson is there to gather and does so safely. And no major threat on his goal beyond that early Hatate ball into the box that he had to push away. But Dundee, as Jonathan mentioned in the pre-match interviews, haven't won here since May 2001 when Fabian Caballero double won the day, despite having gone down to 10 men when Zura Kaushashvili was sent off in the early stages. But that was the last time. 45 times they have been here since, and they have drawn on 7 occasions and lost the other 38. It is a pretty dismal record, and one that not too many people will give them a chance of changing tonight, as Jota tries to get on the end of a forward pass, and it's cut out by Portales and behind for a corner kick. Celtic look to put on the pressure for the opening goal. 12 minutes in though, and no goals as yet, but they will have a corner on that left hand side that Arne Engels is going across to take, and we know his delivery by and large, particularly from that side, the in-swingers are so difficult to defend against. Ingram and Murray both in that area for Dundee as they look to try and keep Celtic out here. Arne Engels then standing over it, preparing to send in the right-footed corner from the left-hand side in towards the back post that time, and Ingram, who drifted to the back, was completely on his own there and was able to just duck under it and allow it to swing out for a goal kick on this near side to Dundee. And 12.5 minutes in, and we still await the opening goal.
Yeah, there was just too much on that ball from Arne Engels. It didn't really give anybody an opportunity to go and attack it. Ingram at the back post realised that there was nobody else lurking around, and he was able to just let it go behind for the by kick.
Which is taken by Trevor Carson. He had to pick the ball out of the net half a dozen times against Hearts. He was at fault for at least one of those. Here's Maida, right hand side, tries to play it into the penalty area. Ingram in the way though, behind for a corner on this near side, the Celtic right. And across comes Engels to take this one as well. Jota will come and offer himself short. Should the Belgian want to go for that option? Callum McGregor is lurking around as well. Jota picks up, and it is McGregor on the angle. Back to Jota, right hand side, tries to curl it in. Finn Robertson in the way, behind for another corner. Dundee working hard to keep Celtic out, but they know they'll need to be on their toes for pretty much the full 90 minutes. As Engels then lines up the latest corner, right hand side. Jota still available for the short one, but it looks like Engels is going to swing this one out the way towards the back post again. Trusty on his knees, almost gets his head to it, but he's the man that's penalised. There's a couple of Dundee players went down, Mosilla and Portales, the two Dundee players in there as well, and it will be a free kick to the visitors 14 minutes in. And Celtic, although they've been well on top, as you'd expect, haven't found a way to go yet. 0-0.
Well, Tony Dockett will be delighted. He's got to about 15 minutes, and they're still level. Trevor Carson's not really been troubled yet, and as you said, as much as Celtic have dominated the ball and they've got into some dangerous areas.
Possible penalty, foul.
Well,
I said he would have been delighted. He certainly won't be if this is given.
So
it must be for the Trusty incident that they're looking at.
Yeah, so it was 3 players went to ground. Trusty for Celtic and those 2 Dundee players that I mentioned, and VAR are now checking for a possible penalty. Colin Stephen awarded the free kick to Dundee, and it's just possible that Alan Muir has spotted something that might require him to come and look at his monitor and potentially change his decision quarter of an hour in. He's listening to the VAR official just now, who's still checking the incident over. It certainly wasn't clear from our vantage point who was fouling who in there, but the referee, he certainly signals, and he's going to make the signal of the monitor, and that is ominous for Dundee, because he's shot across here now to see what Alan Muir has seen that he perhaps didn't see initially.
Well, Tony Dockett is going from being delighted in the opening first 15 minutes to being extremely nervous that penalty is going to be given against his side. I've got to say, I mean, look, we've not seen the instant back, but it did look a little bit bizarre that there was a free kick given against Trusty when he was sort of on his knees almost, and it wasn't immediately clear what had actually happened. You just assumed that the referee had seen something that we hadn't, and clearly VAR has seen something that the official didn't see.
Yeah, well, let's see if Colin Stephen is minded to change his opinion on review of the incident. And Tony Docherty just patrolling his technical area there, and all their hard work in the opening quarter of an hour could be undone here.
Well, it's certainly taken a good wee while, because Colin Stephen's been looking at it for a fair bit.
Here he comes. What's the decision going to be?
Yes.
Penalty. So Austin Trusty, who was penalised in the first instance, now has effectively won his side a penalty. And Trevor Carson will have to hand over the ball to Callum McGregor here. I wonder, no, I thought McGregor for a moment was going to take over penalty duties. Arne Engels has been the man entrusted with it so far, and indeed he takes the ball from his captain. And Mo Silla was yellow carded for his part in that incident, it appears. So Celtic have a spot kick here and an opportunity to move in front. 17 minutes on the clock, and Trevor Carson just cleaning his boots on the post before Arne Engels tries to beat him as he did at Dens Park 3 weeks ago. That time it was for an injury time equaliser. This time it's to put his side in front. Did have one saved up in Dingwall recently, but had to be retaken. One missed one in Europe. And he's got a chance here to score for Celtic, and he does! Trevor Carson dives the right way, away down to his right, but Arne Engels struck it beautifully beyond the keeper. And Celtic have the breakthrough. 18 minutes in, it's Celtic 1, Dundee 0.
That's a good strike from Arne Engels, right in the bottom corner. Trevor Carson's got no chance. He guesses the right way, but has struck that well. He's got no chance. But interestingly, as soon as it's in the back of the net, Tony Docherty he's on to his players, telling them concentration. You can tell how. I mean, it's understandable how anxious he is that this doesn't fall apart for Dundee with what they've just come off the back of. He's just telling them concentration, concentration. They take the centre and they give the ball away.
Yeah, and Jota with the back heel for Hatate. Hatate sends it in back post. It's over Johnston though. Arne Engels with his 8th goal of the season. It's his 7th penalty. That only one that he missed that actually counted was against Young Boys, but didn't look like he was remotely fazed by that as he stepped up this evening and slotted it powerfully beyond Trevor Carson to give his side the advantage. And Dundee already have, well, I guess it was already an uphill struggle to take anything from this game. It's even more of one now as Aramida picks up possession right hand side. He's been relatively quiet so far, knocks that back in field looking for Engels. Garza was onto it, but he knocks it out of play on the halfway line. Almost 20 minutes played and Celtic in a commanding position. Johnston throws it for the goal scorer Engels, plays it square inside his own half to Trusty, and now it's Greg Taylor. I have to say that going back to the incident, there was no great complaints from Trusty that I noticed, at least at the time when he was the one who was initially penalised. So either he was just very good at accepting the referee's decisions, or maybe he wasn't all that convinced himself whether it had been a foul.
I saw him motion as if to say why was a free kick given against him, but not so much, you know, huge protestations that it should have been a penalty kick.
Mo Silla was the man who's adjudged to have fouled Trusty, certainly, and as I mentioned, got a yellow card for his part in that as Celtic come forward looking for a quick second. Maida doing well, and then was he fouled by Silla there? The referee thought not, and Finn Robertson picks up just outside his own area. Then it's Donnelly hammering it forwards. Trusty does well in the air against Murray. Should he be on his guard this evening, but Ingram's done well to win it, and now it's Murray, slips it back to Ingram, left hand side of the penalty area, tries to play it back across the box. Callum McGregor got back and knocks it behind for a corner, but Dundee threatening an equaliser there, and they do have a corner.
I've got to say, I don't think it was the best ball from Callum McGregor back to Rio Hatate, because Hatate's position, his body position, wasn't what you would want to then continue to build the move. He was closed off and he was facing towards his own goal, and the ball was played back to him, so he was almost off balance. It felt as if Callum McGregor could have opened the game up himself, dropped his shoulder and looked to go out the other side.
Will be a Dundee corner left hand side. The referee having to go and have a word with a massive melee of players congregated at the back post from both sides as Dundee look for an equaliser here. Colin Stevens still having to keep a close eye. He's saying to the players, you need to keep your hands down. He's going to have to keep a very close eye on things here as Finn Robertson prepares to swing it in from the left hand side. The 6-yard box is absolutely mobbed. Engels gets to the front post to knock it away, and then Hatate knocks it out of play for a throw-in. So Celtic defend that situation pretty well in the first instance, but it's almost impossible to referee these situations, and VAR very much required at times to make sure there's no pulling and pushing going on. But Celtic have dealt with that, but they've got another ball into the box to contend with coming up. Quarter of the game gone as Aaron Donnelly prepares to launch a long throw-in from the left-hand side. Celtic leading by a goal to nil. Arne Engels' penalty a few minutes ago as Donnelly launches it in near post, and it comes off Trusty's head, did it? Well, Colin Stevens pointed for a goal kick. It looked to me as though it was the ahead of Trusty that knocked it behind, but the referee saw differently, and Celtic have got the game restarted quickly. It's Taylor just inside his own half. Switches play to the right-hand side for Johnston, just about the halfway line. He will back square for Trusty once more. Taylor's available again, and he comes forward about 10 yards inside Dundee territory now. Again, it's square for Johnston. Johnston faced up by 3 Dundee players, so he goes back to Trusty and out to the left-hand side for Hatate. Celtic slowly moving forward and going back the way again to Trusty. They have that goal advantage, so no desperation by any stretch of the imagination required as Maida goes back to Carter Vickers, 5 or 10 yards inside his own half. Now it's Schmeichel who plays it quickly to Trusty, opens it out to the left hand side to Greg Taylor. Cross goes Garza with him. Jota plays it forward and gets it back off Hatate, tries to play it forward to Engels, that's cut out. Hatate's won it back though for Jota, left hand side up against Astley here. Will he go one way, will he go the other? He tries to dink it into the middle and took a touch on its way through, and it will be a Celtic corner off Astley over on that far side, and the Celtic fans appreciating the return of Jota as he tries to repay the faith that they have in him, because to be honest, Michael, I was wondering about the reaction from the Celtic fans, given that when he left I think there was a few fans who were a bit miffed at the fact that he did want to leave, especially for Saudi Arabian football, which
I think the club were quite happy
yeah,
to let him go for 25 million as well, Alistair. You know, I'm not sure that it was just purely down to Jota banging the door down saying I want to leave. I think when you get a ludicrously big transfer fee like that,
yeah,
it was suiting everybody.
Engels with the corner, left hand side, almost finds its way into the 6-yard box, and then Ida with a snapshot as it broke back to him, didn't get a hold of it, and into the side netting. But he's certainly been welcomed back with open arms, hasn't he, Jota?
Well, no wonder, because he's a top-class player, and I think from everybody's perspective, you know, at that time Celtic get a huge transfer fee. They've now got Jota back 18 months later with multiple million in the bank, if you're balancing it across the 2 transfers there.
Yep.
So I don't think anybody could have envisaged that 18 months ago this would be the situation now. I think it's worked out perfectly for them both.
As you mentioned, he signed a long, was it a 5.5 year?
Yeah, I think so.
Deal.
Yeah, 5.5 years.
But it's not beyond the realms of possibility that, say, you know, he goes on and plays as well as he did in the first stint, that they sell him again in, say, 2 or even 3 years' time or whatever for multi-millions more again. It's incredible. Anyway, here he is in possession, left-hand side, back to Engels and Taylor.
You know, the thing with Kyogo, I get that obviously he'd spoken about that he was wanting to go, but I'm baffled as to going to a relegation fight in League One with Rennes,
yeah,
or you got the Champions League. Surely you think to yourself, okay, well, you know what? I'll wait until the summer. But I'm thinking from Celtic's perspective, they're then maybe thinking, well, we've got an opportunity here to do a deal that gets Jota back in.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's going to be a throw into Dundee in the halfway line, left-hand side, as Donnelly comes across to take it. 1-0 they trail. Arne Engels penalty after a VAR review, and Mo Silla penalised for a foul on Austin Trusty. Arne Engels dispatching it for his 8th goal of the season, his 7th in the league, and 7 of his 8 goals have come from the spot. As here he is picking up possession right in the right back position, and he's going further back almost to the goal line. He's giving it away actually to Robertson, who's challenged by Johnston, knocked out for a throw-in to Dundee. Down near the corner flag as they attack down the left-hand side, and it's going to be another opportunity for Donnelly, who didn't want to celebrate when he put his side 3-2 up against Celtic, because he's a lifelong Celtic fan, and well, it was still a momentous goal for him and his club. Almost got them the precious victory. Here he is looking to try and create an equaliser here with a long throw in. 27 minutes played at Celtic Park, and it comes towards the near post. Up goes Trusty, and it'll break out to the left-hand side, and it's kept in and back with Donnelly. It's a poor ball in, but it almost works out kindly, and then Astley blasts it over the top from the left-hand side of the penalty area, and it remains Celtic 1, Dundee 0. Kasper Schmeichel in his urgency to get game started again quickly as knocked it straight out of play. It'll be another Dundee throw, and this time over on the far side, and it's back with that man Astley who just knocked it over. Half a chance, and Dundee still trailing by just the 1 goal to nil. Celtic, the dominant side as they usually are here. The defeat by Rangers is their only one domestically in the last 40 games, and the record here is even more impressive. As Trusty having to go and make the challenge, and the free kick's been given against Trusty. In fact, the yellow card's also coming out for his challenge there on Adewumi, and it didn't look at all comfortable going back there making that challenge. And Dundee have got a free kick just to the right of the penalty area in a decent position. This,
I think that just shows you the threat that Adewumi's pace causes. You know, Aaron Trusty's quick as well, but you could see he was grappling there, trying to get the better of Adewumi, and the linesman's over on the far side. He's got a good view of what's been going on, and even though Trusty was what looked like in front of Adewumi, he's obviously been grabbing a jersey or pulling him or something of that sort that's constituted a free kick. And you're right, it's a dangerous position. You heard Brendan Rodgers before the game talking about set pieces being part of the attacking threat that Dundee would pose.
Finn Robertson then from the right hand side, looking to swing this one into the penalty area. It's almost right out in the right touchline, about 15 yards from the goal line. Back post ball, there's no Dundee players there though, and Aramida will collect here on this near side. Not sure why it was sent so deep when Dundee players had all peeled to the front post. Mulligan's done well to win it back, tries to feed it forward for Adewumi. Carter Vickers knocks it clear. Garza will go and get there before Jota plays it back in field to Mulligan. He can't find a teammate. Portales knocks it forward, and there's a facial knock being taken by Jota. And although Celtic had possession and wanted to move forward, Colin Stephen has stopped play to check for whether Jota needed treatment. He doesn't, and it will just be a drop ball in Celtic's favour. It's about 10 yards inside their own half. Half an hour in, Celtic 1, Dundee 0.
There's head knocks, and then there's a bit of a sore nose, and the referee standing 3 feet away. There was no need to stop the game there.
Hatate on the halfway line under pressure there from Silla. He'll just have to curb his natural game slightly in terms of having already picked up a booking for his involvement in the penalty incident. As Trusty knocks it out to the left hand side on the halfway line. Taylor clips it forward looking for Jota. He's put too much on it though, and out comes Carson to grab that about 15 yards from his goal. And well, Dundee, they haven't been overly fazed by the loss of that goal. Michael, you were saying that Tony Docherty was urging them to stay focused, stay calm, and on the whole they've managed to do that.
Yeah, they have. I don't think Celtic have been as sharp as certainly at the weekend they were. I don't think that same intensity's been there. There's been nice play, there's been plenty good moments, build up, linking, but they've not looked ruthless as yet.
Here's Jota from the left hand side, can't get it beyond the Dundee back line, and Garza's done well against him, but Silla loses out to Hatate, who wins it back for Celtic and plays it back to the halfway line to Trusty. Now it's Taylor for Hatate once more, 10 yards inside the Dundee half. Now Trusty gets it back and plays it square to Carter Vickers and Johnston. Yeah, the tempo not quite as high from Celtic this evening, as you mentioned, as it was at Fir Park for the most part in that victory. But here they come, and it's Eid on the left hand side up against Donnelly. Left hand side of the penalty area, just knocks it back the way to Taylor, midway inside the Dundee half now, back with Engels, the man whose goal separates the sides. Here's McGregor now, looking for a pass. He wants Johnston to come towards him, plays the wall pass and gets it back. It's McGregor trying to get away from Adewumi. He's done so, right hand side, knocks it back the way, all the way to Hatate, wants to touch it onto the right foot. Now he's closed down, finds a pass for Maida. Dundee scramble it clear. Hatate should really just have hit that first time on the left foot. Instead he wanted to take the touch onto the right, and Dundee able to clear, but that was a big chance after terrific work from McGregor.
That's bizarre from Hatate. You know, there was inside the first 10 minutes. He had that opportunity on the edge of the box where he had loads of space as well, and his first touch wasn't bad and he missed the target. That one was an even better chance and just never got himself set properly.
Celtic have it once more. Carter Vickers for Trusty and now Taylor. Forward looking for Ida. Dundee claim for offside. Play continues as Ida tries to play it in. Now the flag goes up from the near side assistant, and it will be a free kick to Dundee inside their own penalty area. That defeat by Hearts at the weekend ended a 4-game unbeaten run, and despite the fact that they're only 2 points worse off than the same stage last season when they sat in 6th place after 24 games, as we were talking about, they're just slightly above the relegation playoff, and it tells you everything you need to know about how tight the Premiership is right now. As the guys were discussing pre-match, it's very difficult to guess who will be involved in the top 6, who will be involved in the relegation issues, as Maida can't get the better of Ingram, but Ingram then knocks the ball out of play under significant pressure from the Japanese winger, who you'd have to say probably hasn't been as effective on this right-hand side as we're normally used to seeing him on the left, Michael.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that both Maeda and Jota prefer and are most dangerous over on the left, but they're both very capable if they're playing out on the right as well. I just think that the level of intensity they've already spoken about, it's just not been there as much as the weekend from Celtic.
Arne Engels' corner kick from the right is well headed away by Donnelly, picked up by Johnston at the edge of the centre circle. Now he uses Hatate just on the halfway line, plays it forward on the left-hand side where Trusty is in a good position, and now Jota, left of the penalty area, looking to lose Mulligan. Mulligan trying to stick with him, but Jota turning one way then the other, and now back with Hatate, further back to McGregor, who plays it square to Alistair Johnston, midway inside the Dundee half. Celtic looking for a second, inside of Ingram. Ingram makes a sliding challenge and gets there just ahead of Maida. Had to judge that to absolute perfection. It's out of play off Johnston, but Ingram sliding in there. If he had got that even a fraction wrong, Michael, he would probably have connected with Maida, and it would have been another penalty, but as it is, the wing-back got it just right.
He did, yep, and much needed, but a great run from Maeda. You could see as soon as Alistair Johnston was getting ready, he's made that darting run from out to in, right behind the wing-back, and almost through.
Johnston wins the header, breaks into the middle of the park for Jota, who nods it down, and then McGregor gets it to Taylor, but 15 yards inside his own half, left-hand side. We've played almost 36 minutes. It's Celtic leading by an Arne Engels penalty to nil as Johnston slides it through in the right channel for Ida, flashes it across goal, and there was no one there to knock it into the net. Well, it was a wonderful ball from Johnston, a good run from Ida. Just wonder, does he need to have a little bit more presence of mind to get the head up and pick a teammate out there, Michael?
Yeah, I think it's probably a fair comment. You know, it's as you said, a fantastic ball from Alistair Johnston, and it's a great run from Ida, but he's got the time there once he's in that position. He's lifted his head, and I think you can see that Hatate's desperately trying to make the run to the near post. Jota's lingering around about the back post, and he's fizzed it across the face. He probably knows that nobody, or he should know, that nobody's really going to be able to get on the end of that. Maybe try and get a little bit of height on it to find Jota at the back post, or pull it back a wee bit more for Hatate. I mean, it'd be better to see a replay and see if the angle was there for it, but the ball he played, I don't think it was ever realistically going to be getting on the end of from either of those two players.
Dundee work it clear down the left-hand side. Robertson helps it on, looking for Murray to go and chase. Trusty will be there first though, and a header back to his goalkeeper, Kasper Schmeichel, who immediately volleys it out to Greg Taylor. His distribution on the whole is very, very good. And now it's Jota taking over, but 15 yards inside the Dundee half. Back to Hatate and back again to Trusty. Square for Carter Vickers. 8 minutes left in this first period. Dundee will be very keen to ensure that the damage is no worse by half-time if they can't find an equaliser. But here's Hatate helping it on to Jota. Angle of the box, left-hand side, cuts in field. Then he tries a little back heel for Hatate. Taylor has to slide in there on Adewumi. Wins the ball cleanly and not clear, and McGregor will pick up and play it back out to the left-hand side for Hatate. Hatate lifts it in, looking for Ida, who just about gets the better of Donnelly, hits the deck, claims for the penalty. The referee doesn't believe there was enough of a touch there from Donnelly on his back. He did get wrong side of the defender and couldn't get the shot away. Michael, your own take on that?
I don't think it was a penalty personally. I think that Ida does well, good strength to be able to get on the goal side of Donnelly. I don't think the defender did too much wrong, just slightly out-muscled by Ida, but then when he was in there, his touch just got away from him slightly. Yes, there's a bit of contact, but it's just a normal challenge between the two players in the box there. I don't think there was anything, or there wasn't enough for it to be a penalty kick.
Celtic's still leading then by a goal to nil. 38.5 minutes played. Here they come looking for a second before the interval. Jota can't find the pass for McGregor, but gets another crack at it and leaves it to Taylor. Now it's Alistair Johnston clipping it in, looking for Ida. It's won by Portales though, just ahead of Ida. An important header there just at the edge of the 6-yard box. Celtic pick up once more. Taylor looking to link with Engels. Now it's out as Jota, left hand side. Curls it in on the right foot, headed away again by Portales. Picked up by Johnston this time, midway inside the Dundee half. Pretty relentless from Celtic just at the moment as they search for a second goal, which might effectively kill the game before half-time. Hatate out to Johnston, midway inside Dundee territory. Now it's Maida, right-hand side of the penalty area. Ingram sticking close to him. Maida runs out of the play. Ingram's done, by and large, pretty well against Maida, you'd have to say. He's obviously pretty fast himself, and he's been strong enough as well.
Yeah, he defended that one well, really well. He was able to close down the space that Maeda was going to go and try and attack, and then physically push Maeda away from goal and force the Japanese wide man to eventually knock it out for a throw-in.
Aaron Donnelly to take the throw-in, just about 15 yards away from his own corner flag on the left-hand side. Down the wing it goes. Arne Engels gets first to it. Murray though can head it forward. Adewumi goes down under the challenge. Play continues though as Carter Vickers picks up and knocks it back to his goalkeeper just outside his penalty area, and a swift ball out to Taylor on the halfway line allows Celtic to start the next attack. It's Jota up against Mulligan, left hand side up towards the penalty area. Jota comes in field looking to buy a bit of space, but Mulligan's done well. Adewumi moves in to help out, and Dundee get the free kick for Jota's challenge, desperate to try and keep the ball, and he fouled the Dundee player, and it'll be a Dundee free kick midway inside their own half. 4.5 to the interval. Celtic 1, Dundee 0.
Mulligan defended that situation well as well. 1v1 with Jota. Looked like he just managed to nick inside Mulligan, but no, he was able to close him down, force Jota into a bit of a heavier touch, and then he tried to lunge in and retain possession, but he gave away a free kick. Good defending in the last couple of attacks from the Dundee wing-backs there.
And Dundee have a throw-in in the Celtic half this time, left-hand side, midway inside the Celtic half, which will be taken again by Donnelly. Might try and launch this one into the box as well. He's certainly got the length in the throw-in, so he's going to be ordered back a few yards by the referee in terms of where he's allowed to take it from. He's midway inside the Celtic half though, and Dundee get 3 or 4 players in and around the Celtic penalty area, but it's going to go down the left flank looking for Murray. Carter Vickers gets his head to it. Ingram trying to keep possession on the left-hand side for Dundee, but Hatate robs him and then feeds it down the right for Celtic. In steps Astley and knocks it out of play so that Ida can't make any headway. Alistair Johnston with the throw, and then just in front of Brendan Rodgers' technical area. Carter Vickers picks up possession now, just midway inside his own half. Plays it short for the goal scorer Arne Engels. He clips it out to the left-hand side to Taylor. Taylor about 10 yards inside the Dundee half now, into the centre circle for Engels once more, and now McGregor out to Jota, left-hand side. Just takes his eye off the ball but keeps it under control. Now Hatate, slide ball through for McGregor, doesn't quite bring it under control. Adewumi knocks it clear only as far as Engels. Hatate now in the edge of the box, challenged by Silla. Hatate still has it, left-hand side. Jota taking over, back to McGregor. Celtic looking for that second before the break. Dundee desperately trying to keep them out as McGregor goes out to Jota once more, midway inside the Dundee half. Back with the captain once more, and now Austin Trusty just inside his own half. Back out to the left for Hatate. Dundee trying to shuffle across to close him down. Into the feet of Engels, he's dispossessed by Astley, plays it out to Adewumi, who spins away from McGregor, but Johnston gets back to make the challenge and knocks it back to Carter Vickers. Adewumi looking forlornly at the referee, but certainly there was nothing wrong with the challenge from Johnston, and Celtic pick up once more, and it comes through to Ida, and then Hatate, quick ball in looking for Maida, knocked away by Ingram. McGregor gets it to Engels, who plays it back to Carter Vickers. Tony Docherty kicking every ball down there, desperate for his side to keep Celtic out. Doesn't want a second goal going in before the interval. 1-0 they trail with a couple of minutes to go. That's loose from Celtic at the edge of the box, and that's a good challenge in the end from Johnston on Silla. Tony Docherty wanted a foul, but it's Jota now left hand side. Can he cut it back? Comes off Mulligan. It'll be a Celtic corner. Mo Silla just picking himself up. Johnston certainly went in forcefully on Silla from behind, but won enough of the ball to satisfy the referee. Tony Docherty making his feelings known to the fourth official there, Michael.
Yeah, he's obviously not happy. It looked to me as if it was down the side of Mo Silla, but a lot of the times you see when that happens that obviously they're still going to get plenty of the player as well that the free kick would be given, so you can understand from Tony Docherty's viewpoint where he's looking at that he's thinking should have been a free kick, especially when it's a turnover and then Celtic almost go up.
Engels swings it in near post. Carson just flaps it away. Did enough to clear the danger for the moment at least into the final minute of the opening 45 as Engels tries to flip it down the left hand side. McGregor doesn't latch onto it because Mulligan was in the way, and now it's picked up by Robertson. Back to Garza, who'll go all the way back to Carson. He just launches it out of play. Some of Engels' deliveries from the corner kicks are really difficult, the way they whip into the near post, but Carson did well on that occasion. Might have had a move to Celtic himself back in his Motherwell days. It was on the verge of happening before Stephen Robinson, I think, vetoed it, and I don't think Trevor Carson's forgiven him to this day, as Carter Vickers picks up for Celtic. The fourth official just about to show that there's 2 minutes to be added on at the end of this first period.
Am I right in thinking that was when Scott Bain came in instead?
You might well be right, Michael. Don't have that particular detail of the story to hand, and it's escaped me. But you're probably right. It feels like it would have been about that time, doesn't it?
Yeah. In which case, I'm sure Scott Bain's quite delighted that Stephen Robinson did that.
Yeah, exactly. He's still here. Hasn't played an awful lot, but picking up a decent salary, that's for sure. Celtic take a throw in on the near side. Silla again complaining he should have had a free kick, didn't come his way, and here comes Celtic with perhaps a final chance of the first half. It's into Ida in the left channel. Carson bats it away. In comes Jota, saved again. Ida into the roof of the net, and the third time of asking. Aramida with a fabulous finish. Dundee complain, but the referee is unmoved. A yellow card shown to one of the Dundee backline, but Aramida with another terrific finish to make it 4 goals in 3 games. Denied initially by Carson, so too was Jota, but Ida, when it came back to him on the left of the penalty area, smashed it into the roof of the net to make it Celtic 2, Dundee 0.
It's a great finish from Ida in the end, but also, you know, a lot is spoken about with regards to Kyogo's movement. Adam Ida's movement, you know, in this first half, he gets himself into some really good positions. Lovely slide rule passes from a number of players in the first half. On that occasion, he's in behind the defender. Greg Taylor with a great ball. I thought he was a little bit slow to sort his feet out to get the strike away. There's a potential offside in the build-up there, but I thought he could have moved his feet a little bit quicker so he could have got the strike away the first time. When it comes back to him after the strike from, I think it was Jota, he makes no mistake with it. It's an absolutely brilliant finish into the top of the net.
Well, if it stands, it'll be his 12th of the season, and he's really stepped up to the plate.
Tony Docherty will be spewing if this, you know, if this isn't chalked off. He'll be absolutely spewing. Almost at half-time, just the 1 goal down.
Yeah, because it's a massive difference, isn't it?
Huge difference.
Well, the offside is being checked. There's no offside offence. bench, so the goal stands, and Dundee trail by 2-0 in first half stoppage time. And well, the difference between going in 1 behind to Celtic at half time and 2 goals down, as Tony Docherty knows, is absolutely massive, and it completely changes what he can try and do at the interval. As Mo Silla, just prior to the build-up to the goal, he was complaining he was effectively off the park, complaining he'd been fouled, but the referee saw nothing wrong with it, and clearly that would have been checked as well, because I think it was pretty much in the build-up to the goal, but VAR saw nothing amiss with that, and no offside. So Armida does have his 12th goal of the season, and the first half brought to a close, and an early goal and a late goal in that first half have Celtic in command. The opener came after a quarter of an hour. Austin Trusty went down in the box. Initially he was penalised for a challenge, but Alan Muir, who's the video assistant referee, asked Colin Stephen, the ref, to come and have another look at it. And on review, Colin Stephen changed his mind and felt that Trusty had been fouled by Silla, awarded the penalty, and Arne Engels dispatched it from the spot to make it 1-0. Beyond that, Celtic were largely in control, but really didn't trouble Trevor Carson all that much until first half stoppage time, when both Ida and Jota were denied by good saves from Trevor Carson, but he could do nothing to keep out the third effort, which came back in from Ida as he smashed it into the roof of the net to make the half-time scoreline. Celtic 2, Dundee 0.
On digital radio,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
this is Sports Sound.
There's no substitute.
Previously in the Six Nations,
Ben White scores in the corner.
non-stop action,
Everything you got. Hat-trick for Hugh Jones. Never stop.
non-stop drama.
Scotland get victory here against this ever-improving Italian team.
Get all the news and exclusive interviews from the Championship.
The BBC Radio Scotland Rugby Podcast on BBC Sounds.
And catch Scotland against Ireland on Sunday afternoon.
Try!
Watch on iPlayer, listen on digital radio, or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
Yes, there's a choice of the rugby or Scottish Cup action for you at the weekend. We'll look ahead to that in a few minutes' time. 2 games live on BBC television, of course, all the coverage on Saturday on Radio Scotland. We are just in Premiership mode this evening as things stand. Celtic 2, Dundee 0. Arne Engels with opening goal from the penalty spot, a really good penalty on 18 minutes. Adam Ida with a nice finish into the roof of the net just on the stroke of half-time. So looking at the live Premiership table, Celtic once again 13 points clear at the top. Dundee remain in 10th spot. It's so tight down there. Motherwell 31 points, they make up the top 6. Hearts 30, St Mirren 30, Kilmarnock at 28, Dundee 27, Ross County 26, and St Johnstone back in the mix after back-to-back league wins there on 21 points. Elsewhere tonight there is also SPFL Trust Trophy semi-final action. Dunfermline Athletic 0, Livingston 1. Robbie Muirhead with a goal on 41 minutes there at half-time. Also, the victors there will face Queen's Park in the final. And in the SWPL tonight, 1 game, it's just reached half-time. Aberdeen 0, Partick Thistle 0. As I said, stay with us. We'll look ahead to the first of the Scottish Cup 5th round ties. That's on Friday evening. Full coverage on BBC Scotland. We'll hear from the Ayr United management team in just a couple of minutes' time. They spoke with James McFadden this week, but focusing Michael Stewart on this game tonight. You spoke about the importance of a positive start for Dundee to keep things tight, and they looked bang on course for that until that penalty incident. I've had a look at it. It looked the correct shout. There's certainly one angle that looked definitive. You know, Trusty was pulled down, and that was a major blow for Tony Docherty. Up until that point, they'd looked fairly comfortable.
Yeah, well, in respect of you know that Celtic are going to dominate possession, that they're going to stretch your defence and really try to open you up and penetrate. And they'd done it to a certain extent, but without really troubling Trevor Carson a great deal. So I was literally saying, just as the corner had gone in and it looked as if there was a free kick going towards Dundee, that Tony Docherty would have been very happy at that opening stage of the game that they'd been able to see it through. But lo and behold, the penalty kick was given and 1-0 down. But then the first half, I think to a great extent it followed that same pattern where Celtic had some opportunities. I think Hatate in particular had a couple of moments where if he had got himself set better, then he could have really been troubling Trevor Carson. But up until the second goal goes in, you would say Tony Docherty would have been fairly happy. He would have been going in at 1-0 down and thinking that you can get the players. They still would have been believing that they were in the game. 2-0 down, it's a different kettle of fish, really.
Yeah, as you'd always expect, Celtic at home dominating possession, 80% possession for them, 7 shots, 2 for their away side, 4 on target for Celtic, just the 1 on target for Dundee. Michael, we spoke a lot before the game. Lee Miller also joined us, and we spoke about Adam Idah, and you felt the opportunity that Celtic's failure to bring in a replacement for Kyogo in the January window would present to the striker, and that was a terrific finish. That's all he could do. He's got to build confidence. I think also build confidence among the fans that he can be Celtic's leading striker.
Well, he's got the opportunity, and he will have the opportunity now, and that was the point I was making before, that in different circumstances that chance may never have presented itself. He may never have been able to get a run of 10, 12 starts in a row, whereas now that is going to that's going to happen. So it's up to him to go and grasp that and really show what he's capable of. It's certainly shown that he knows how to score. If he can start to just build the rest of his game, and his movement's good, and he's got good strength, and certainly in that first half, as I said before, he'd gotten himself into some really good positions. He just could have, like Hatate for a couple of chances. If he'd been able to sort his feet out a little bit quicker, he maybe would have been able to get a few strikes away. But that's something you would imagine that with more games, that speed of thought and general play will improve for Adam Idah.
So Celtic 2, Dundee 0, full second half commentary to come on Sports. And just one other game to update you on this evening, the semi-finals of the English League Cup. So Newcastle United 1-0 up, approaching half-time at home to Arsenal. That's 3-0 on aggregate. So it looks as if they're going to go through to the League Cup final down there. The Scottish Cup takes centre stage here again in Scotland at the weekend. No doubt one of the eye-catching ties off the 5th round will take place at Somerset Park on Friday evening as Ayr United take on Hibs, with both sides in very good form. The game is live on BBC Scotland. James McFadden caught up with the Ayr United manager Scott Brown and his assistant Stephen Whittaker.
Great start to the year, 5 wins in a row, carrying on decent form at the tail end of the year. How's it been?
It's been really good. It's been enjoyable as well, because the lads want to learn. They're young, most of them, and they want to try and show how good they can be, and they see us and see how high we can get. And we've got that drive and those standards as well that we've got to try and push to.
You've got a good mix of youth and experience. Is that important to have the experienced players to have, show them that drive and bring the young players on? Yeah, like we were saying earlier, like Mikey Devlin coming into the team, Murph being in there as well, and Big Gio up top, and it's great experience. It's leaders as well, which we need in the team, because you can go with youth as long as you want, but you need those minutes in the game when you can actually gain management, when you can chill out, you can relax, you can keep the ball, and you can be disciplined, and that's what they bring. They bring a little bit of composure, a little bit of calmness to us as well, but also that know how to go and win games as well. Is that like we used to? You've been the brains. I wouldn't say that. The one that maybe needs calmed down a wee bit. Aye, I think that's a good balance, and to be fair, I've seen him lose his stuff a few times, but I'm probably the one that's a wee bit more 0 to 60, but I've been more chilled recently, haven't I? I'm still a wee bit excitable. I've got a lot of energy that I want to burn and want to use, and I enjoy coming in. I really do. I enjoy coming into the environment, the chairman, with Graham as well having those side of the meetings, but also taking training and making sure that everything's organised, everything's sorted. And the wee weird ones that throw you is somebody phoning ill in the morning or turning up to training and feeling they're hammy after the first 5 minutes, and we're looking at each other going, what one's joining in? And 9 times first choice. Yeah.
The coaching on the pitch and getting the team to play how we'd like to see it on a Saturday, it's been fantastic. And I think the boys, able to take the information on and implement it on the Saturdays, 9 times out of 10 has been there. And they're really good workers. They put the work in, really good attitude to what we're trying to achieve.
Sitting top of the league, big cup game on the horizon. Did you think that you'd be in this position come the start of the season?
We always believe we can win every game. That's one good thing about the lads as well. They've got that drive, they've got a good focus as well, and they're really down to earth as well. They're just chilled out lads, and they want the best for their career as well. So I think when you look at it, we had a really good start of the season with a little dip, and then we started to kick on again. But momentum's a huge thing in football, and you get those wins and the lads start to believe and everyone gets excited. But for us, the main thing is the next game we play Hibs, which is a huge game for the club as well. And it's also going to see how far we've came in the last year since us coming in to how we play, because we went to Rangers, second or third game by the time we came in, and we're at Ibrox and we actually played quite well. Got beat 2-0, but we had a lot of chances, a lot of shots, and you need to have a little bit of luck as well against these top teams. And for us, I think Hibs are undefeated in, was it 10 games? We've got 7 wins and 3 draws, so they're in excellent form as well. So it is going to be a hard game for us. You never know what can happen on the day, and you've always got to believe that you can win every single game, and it is going to be a hard game to win. But for us, you've got to go into it having that belief within yourself as well, because we believe in the players to go out and express themselves every game, and they've done that so far.
Yeah, it'll be a Celtic crowd probably, expecting or hoping for a
7,000, 6,500, 7,000, so it's great for the club. It's also great for pretty much the whole area as well, to get 7,000 fans coming down business-wise, and hopefully it's a good day.
Promotion or a cup win? Not been in the top flight for a long time and never won a cup.
One game at a time, Faddy, one game at a time. We look forward to the high base, so we'll see how that goes. And it'll be great because Dave's obviously, we played against Dave and you played with Dave as well. So it'll be good to see the way his team play as well. And I'm on the pro licence with Dave, so good to have an understanding of both teams. And as I say, it's more about us than them, and it's always harder for them to come down to a championship club because they're expected to win every game. Don't get me wrong, we're expected to win every game here as well, and our fans expect that and want to see us entertained, so we need to make sure we put on a good show.
You've obviously started at Hibs, and it's, for when you play against your old teams, you're always looking forward to it. But you said a bit of a special team. You spend a good 6-7 years with them through your youth. You're with them, from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, constantly doing your work. So you build up that relationship, day in, day out with that work, and it was a great place for us to learn, a trade in a way. And it's always been a club that, I played, about to play Hibs, but we played Rangers when we first came in. So I've managed to play against the 2 teams that, that I played for in Scotland. So it's great to come up against these teams.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
A golden goal! Absolutely tremendous.
There's no substitute.
Yeah, really interesting to hear the thoughts of the Ayr United management team there, speaking with James McFadden. BBC Scotland will broadcast live television coverage of Ayr United against Hibs and St Mirren against Hearts in the Scottish Cup 5th round. The tie at Ayr is this Friday. St Mirren against Hearts is next Monday. Both games kick off at 7:45 and will be on BBC Scotland and on the iPlayer. Premiership action for you this evening. Half-time, Celtic 2, Dundee 0. Arne Engels will open from the penalty spot after a VAR check on 18 minutes. Adamida with a second right on the stroke of half-time. The ball getting fired into the roof of the net by the Celtic striker. Again, just looking at the match stats, Celtic dominating possession, 80%, 7 shots for the home side, 2 for Tony Docherty's team, 4 on target for Celtic, 1 of the 2 shots on target for the away side. Also tonight in the semi-final of the SPFL Trust Trophy, Dunfermline Athletic 0, Livingston 1. Robbie Muirhead with the goal there on 41 minutes. Just a reminder that Queen's Park await the victors in the final of that competition. They, of course, went to extra time against East Kilbride, eventually coming through by 6 goals to 2. There is one game in the SWPL tonight. Aberdeen 0, Partick Thistle 0, and I was giving you the latest from the League Cup semi-final second leg. Newcastle United 1, Arsenal 0. That is 3-0 to the Geordies on aggregate. Stay with us. Full second half commentary to come from Celtic Park.
The fourth round of the Scottish Cup was home of the goals.
Goals galore, certainly kept us on our toes.
8-2, Ayr United.
Rangers have 5.
And home to the glory goals.
And the Dundee fan and captain has given his side the lead.
Last minute goal, Livingston.
And you felt that's what it would take.
Now, who can shoot their way into the quarter-finals?
Massive chance for Maida.
The Scottish Cup lives here this weekend and on Monday night.
We've just seen another special goal.
One of all of these games, plenty of drama, plenty more to come.
Watch and listen across BBC Scotland.
Yeah, plenty to look forward to across the weekend. It's a busy weekend of Scottish Cup action. Also a big game in the Championship. Falkirk are at home to Partick Thistle. Full coverage of that one on Open All Mics on Saturday night. To see the teams coming back out there at Celtic Park. What would Tony Docherty have been saying to his players there? Is it about damage limitation now?
No, I don't think it's at that level. You know, it's only 2-0. Clearly, when you're conceding just before half-time, it's a bitter pill to swallow. He'll be hammering home the point that, look, don't gift anything. Same message in terms of don't gift anything to Celtic like they did in the first. I don't think they gifted anything away. But next goal's huge. If they're able to create an opportunity, they need to take it. And if they get the next goal, then that really changes the dynamic massively. But no, I don't think you'd be talking about damage limitation at this stage. No chance.
OK, time now to sit back and enjoy the action. Celtic against Dundee with Michael Stewart and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Celtic about to get us back on the way. They will go from right to left as we look at it from our position in the main stand. And here we go again as Celtic immediately look to build an attack down the left-hand side. Hatate in the end coming back the way to Trusty. Dundee's record here, I mentioned to you earlier on that they haven't won since 2001. They've lost on 20 of the last 22 visits and a couple of draws in there as well, so it doesn't augur well for them, but you never know if they can get the next goal, and that would be something to build upon. Celtic haven't particularly looked like giving up too many chances, and indeed they will want to go and add further to their tally as Greg Taylor tries to feed it into the penalty area, knocked away, but immediately Celtic try and win it back in the high area. There's an offside flag has gone up against Celtic though at the edge of the penalty area. It will be a free kick to Dundee. Just Trevor Carson trotting out to take that one. Celtic's home record just currently unbeaten in 30 at home. It's their best. In fact, they're on course pretty soon to potentially surpass the 33 that they managed between December 2005 and March 2007 under Gordon Strachan. This will be 31 tonight, assuming they don't collapse here in the second half. It's a poor challenge there on Cesar Garza, and it'll be a Dundee free kick in the middle of the park. The young Mexican hobbling to his feet now, and Finn Robertson over the free kick just inside the Celtic half. 2-0, the champions and league leaders lead, and aiming to go 13 points clear of Rangers by the close of play as Robertson prepares to take this free kick just a few yards inside the Celtic half. Dundee have sent plenty of players forwards, knowing that the next goal is very much crucial in this one. Up to the edge of the penalty area it goes. It's one at the far post there by Astley, but only into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel pretty tamely at the edge of his 6-yard box, and a comfortable take for the Celtic keeper. 47.5 in, and no change to the half-time scoreline as Johnston now comes forward down the right-hand side looking to link with Maida, but again it's Ethan Ingram cutting it out. He has done pretty well against the dangerous Japanese winger as Taylor now gets it back to Trusty just inside his own half. Short ball for Hatate, closed down by Silla, steps away from him and out to Johnston about 15 yards inside the Dundee half. Out to the right hand side now for Maida. Maida level with the penalty area, back to Engels, who just knocks it to Hatate. Now it's Johnston once more, crossing opportunity just over Engels and headed away to the edge of the area, picked up by McGregor. Greg Taylor now takes over midway inside the Dundee half. But it's short to Hatate as Celtic look for a way to find a third goal. Austin Trusty and Simon Murray playing a little bit of cat and mouse on the halfway line. Trusty thinking about gambling and going forward and adding his weight to the attack. Murray wondering whether he should go back with him or just try and stay up front and offer the out ball should Dundee ever get possession back, but it doesn't look likely just at the moment. Here is Trusty finding Taylor on the halfway line. Back with Trusty once more. Murray will go and try and close him down. He's looking for support up here as the ball's played by Schmeichel to Carter Vickers. And now into Johnston. McGregor and Engels combine before Johnston picks up possession once more.
They're a wee bit quicker in possession, Celtic. They've not got in behind them yet, but they're certainly moving it and shifting it a little bit quicker. It's clearly, I would imagine, the message that Brendan Rodgers was sending over at half-time. The tempo needs to go up a little bit.
Yeah, that certainly looks that way, doesn't it? Ball's back with Trevor Carson, just inside his 6-yard box, sends out to the right-hand side, looking for Mulligan now. Mulligan caught Greg Taylor square in the face there. What's the card that's coming here? It's a yellow card for Josh Mulligan. The forearm to the face there.
I don't think there's a need there, personally. And I don't think it's a forearm. You're jumping on the Lee Miller bandwagon yet. Forearm smashes and things like that. I think he catches him with his arm, or more his hand. Free kick, yeah. I don't think he needed to produce a yellow card.
Celtic,
and as for Lee Miller coming out and talking about forearm smashes,
I can't back him up for that. I mean,
no, but I mean, Lee, the guy that loved to jump up in the air.
Yeah, as much as I like Lee, I mean, I like him a lot more than I like you, but I can't back him up.
Is there anybody that's lower on the list?
Not really, not really. Here's Carter Vickers for Celtic. They're looking for a third goal at the start of this second period. Maida now comes inside, just nudges it away from Adewumi to McGregor. Now it's Carter Vickers once more. Carter Vickers then plays it square to Trusty, and then out to Taylor. Taylor infield, Engels just on his heels there, and Silla nips in and wins possession back. Quickly closed down though by 2 or 3 Celtic players, and they've won it back in a good area.
That didn't really happen in the first half, Al. That noticeable.
Yeah, and there's Garza going to get a yellow card for pulling back McGregor. Celtic wanted to take the free kick immediately, but the referee is trying to issue the yellow card. But you're absolutely right, that is also something that's changed since half-time.
Yeah, and it was very noticeable in the last sort of month, in the last few games, that Celtic have had that hunger and sort of bite about them out of possession. It wasn't totally noticeable in the first half. Brendan Rodgers just, I'm sure, as I've already mentioned, in possession they've been a little bit quicker, but also there I think that was evident that that would have been the message. In and out of possession, the intensity and the tempo needed to be raised, and the hunting in packs there, 3 or 4 of them just crowding out Dundee, winning the ball back.
Here's a free kick then from Arne Engels, left of centre, about 35 yards away from goal. He's going to curl this one in towards the back post. Carter Vickers is up there, then Ashley gets his head to at the edge of the 6-yard box. Robertson knocks it clear. McGregor will go and try and latch onto it. It's going to be a goal kick in the end, and Dundee survive that particular 40 forward by Celtic, but certainly they're looking to ensure they keep their stranglehold on the game and indeed intensify how difficult it's going to be for Dundee as Mulligan comes forward, tracked by Jota. He's done well to get away from Jota and Engels, but then he just touches it out of play just on the halfway line.
I've got to be honest, I thought he'd got past them all.
Yeah.
And then he just sort of watched it roll out of play. I thought he was away. If he'd actually got another touch, which I think he could have, he'd have been driving up the line. Looked as if he'd skipped past 2 or 3 of them.
Here's Trusty, edge of the box, out to the left-hand side to Taylor, and back to Hatate, just outside his own penalty area. Plays it out to the right for Johnson, still about 15 yards inside his own half. Comes back infield, and then just tucks it back inside to Hatate, who'll then just try and split the defence, looking for Maeda. Just a little bit too much on the pass in the end. I mean, Hatate's vision is exceptional, and his execution wasn't too far off being perfect there as well.
Very close to being an outrageously good ball there from Hatate. And when you've got the pace of Maeda, it's where you can exploit defences ruthlessly at times with balls over the top like that. Just a little bit too much on it.
Goal kick taken by Trevor Carson. Celtic leading by 2-0. You listen to Sports Sound with us here on BBC Radio Scotland. The only game in the Premiership tonight, as Celtic look destined to go 13 clear at the top once more. And Ida being wrestled to the ground there by Portales, who's going to become the latest Dundee player to go in the referee's notebook. No, I don't think so. He's going to get off with it. It's just a free kick, but Ida is certainly proving a handful up there. And he's already got his goal, which takes him to 12 for the season. 7 of those in the Premiership, as Celtic get things moving again. It's Hatate just touching it back to Trusty at the edge of the centre circle. He finds Johnston right hand side. Robertson tries to close him down, but now it's on to Maeda right hand side. Back with Carter Vickers in the halfway line. Murray trying to close off the angles. Carter Vickers just steps forward though, runs into Silla and gets it back to McGregor. McGregor then shifts it to the left hand side for Taylor, and now out to Jota up against Mulligan, who's now on a yellow, which will aid Jota's cause. Lovely ball in for Maeda! It's wonderful! Absolutely wonderful from Jota, the provider, and Maeda with a diving header at the back post past Trevor Carson to make it Celtic 3, Dundee 0.
Well, the two wide men linking up there brilliantly. Absolutely fantastic ball from Jota, cutting in on his right foot, putting it into such a difficult area for the Dundee defence to defend. And Dyson Maeda, who's over on the right hand side, and I've got to say, over on that right hand side, he's been so dangerous in behind all night long, getting in behind, whether it's Ingram or whether it's Donnelly over on the left side of the centre half. He's constantly offered a threat in behind, and this time Jota's picked him out. Inch perfect ball, curling in behind the defence. Maeda's on with a diving header, and he knocks it past Trevor Carson from about 4 yards out. What a great goal.
That puts Dyson Maeda out in front in terms of Celtic's top scorers this season. That is number 17 for Dyson Maeda, 7 in the league, and this game is well and truly beyond Dundee now. And the worrying thing, given how early that has come, 56 minutes in, there is potential for more to go in. Tony Docherty will be just beginning to turn his mind towards that scoreline on Saturday, and hoping there's no repeat of that tonight.
Well, Kenny was talking about damage limitation at half-time, and I was thinking it's too early to start talking about that, but Celtic scoring, inside roughly the first 10 minutes second half, there will start to be a wee sort of niggle at the back of his mind, thinking, oh no, certainly at this stage. I think Maeda's been very good over on that right-hand side, I've got to say. I think he's been a constant threat in behind.
Well, it's his move. He's constantly on the move, isn't he? He just doesn't give whoever is marking him a moment's peace. And although Ingram had pretty much played him quite well in the first period, he was maybe caught napping slightly with Maeda's quickness, I thought.
But it's all well and good being constantly on the move. It's his timing of his runs and knowing when to, stand still, when to trigger it, when to drive in behind, when to drop up. It's his movement, in terms of where he goes, not just the fact that he's constantly looking to cause the opposition problems. And I think that intelligence perhaps doesn't get enough credit, because his energy is quite incredible, but his intelligence about where to be and where to run, certainly tonight, has been at the forefront.
Here come Dundee looking for a goal back. It's Mulligan picking up on the pass from Garza. Right hand side, curls it in, can't get it beyond Greg Taylor though. Jota back in the defence, trying to help out his side, plays it forward for Taylor, and it's good play. And now Hatate picks up, plays it back the way to Jota, who's in the left back position, finds McGregor.
He's such a lovely balanced football player, and you can hear That's the crowd getting excited about.
Here's Maida, and the counter-attack! Oh, superb from Dyson Maida, clipping over Trevor Carson from the edge of the box. The counter-attack was quite phenomenal from Celtic, building it from the left-back position. Then there was a quick ball forward. It found Maida via deflection, and he improvised to lift it over Trevor Carson. Wonderful vision, wonderful goal. Celtic 4, Dundee 0.
Panic stations now for Dundee. 4-0 down, 2 goals in quick succession in the second half here. And by the way, that is a ludicrous finish from Dyson Maeda. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, that's not, he's inside the box. He's inside the box when he makes contact with that. And Trevor Carson is inside his 6-yard box. He gets it over the keeper and into the back of the net. That's a sensational finish. But it starts from Jota in the left back position, facing his own goal line, and just a lovely, as I said before, such a lovely balanced player. Great composure, a wee step over and a shimmy and turning, keeping possession, passing it forward into Greg Taylor, and then they build the game from that left back position. And that was what the crowd were getting excited about, just that lovely little bit of play. And all of a sudden, within about 4 passes later, the ball's in the back of the net with an incredible finish from Dyson Maeda.
Yeah, it was a good ball forward from Engels as well. It was almost cut out, but actually fell quite kindly in the end for Maeda. As you say, just took a step inside the penalty area before clipping it over Carson. Just judged it to perfection, dipped in underneath the bar to make it 4-0 before the hour mark, as Dundee prepare a couple of changes here to try and help limit the damage. Larkesh is going to come on, and so too is Jordan McGee, with half an hour to play. But Celtic very much look in the mood for more goals, as much as
you know, for somebody like Maeda, who at times, I think it's fair to say, you look at his end product and sometimes you think to yourself, what on earth has he done there? When his movement and energy is incredible. That finish there is a real touch of class.
Johnston into the middle, Carson goes up and takes that inside the 6-yard box. The Celtic fans certainly believe there are more goals in this for them, and they're probably not wrong, as Kuhn and Bernardo are going to come on for Celtic. I mean, as if things couldn't get any worse for Dundee, they're going to bring on Nicholas Kuhn, who's already got 16 goals, now trails Dyson Maeda by a couple, so he'll be looking to rectify that over the course of the remaining half an hour. It's an embarrassment of riches.
Well, what you say,
to Brendan Rodgers.
There's real competition for places.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to actually, there's no let up. They have to perform, otherwise they know one of them is not going to be able to play.
Engels with a switch of play out to Jota, tries the early ball down the left hand side for Taylor. It's knocked out of play by Astley. The throw-in was taken quickly, but too quickly, because the changes are going to come. Actually, Celtic's changes are coming first. Callum McGregor is going to get a rest and allow Paulo Bernardo to come on. And Jota, whose evening is over as well, and again he takes the acclaim of the Celtic fans. But tonight it's not just a few thousand visiting fans at Fir Park, it's almost a full house of 60,000 standing in acclaim of the Portuguese winger, who gets a big hug from Brendan Rodgers, and there is absolutely no doubt that he is happy to be home. Now the Dundee changes will come as well. As I said, Ziad Larkesh is going to come on, and so too Jordan McGee. Cesar Garza is coming off, and Ethan Ingram is the other player to make way. So Larkesh will just slot into that left wing back role, more natural on that left hand side than Ingram, and he'll have Nicholas Kuhn to contend with, having come on, and Jordan McGee makes his return from injury. He was back on the bench at the weekend after missing 4, having gone off early against St Mirren a few weeks back. So double change by both sides, and you'd imagine there'll be no real let up from Celtic as they look to make the scoreline even more emphatic. That actually, this scoreline means that Dundee have the worst defensive record in the league, and only the top two have outscored them. But it's defensive issues that have plagued them this season, and that this has taken them beyond St Johnstone in terms of the goals against column. It could get worse as Taylor lifts it in, looking for Maida, who's on a hat-trick, but he didn't quite leap high enough to connect with that. Trevor Carson gathers. We've played 63.5 minutes, and it's Celtic 4, Dundee 0. Trevor Carson prepares to launch this one long. Arne Engels gets in the way. Silla can't get a hold of it, and Bernardo gets it back to Taylor, and now Trusty. And Carter Vickers. Celtic at home to Raith Rovers at the weekend. Dundee have got Airdrie in the Scottish Cup, which will be something of a welcome respite, I imagine. That's 10 goals they've shipped in just about 2.5 hours of football in the Premiership. As Carson picks up once more, and again he'll go long over the halfway line, looking for Murray, who hasn't really been able to cause the type of problems that he did at Dens Park against Celtic just a few weeks ago. It's out for a throw-in to Celtic on this near side, quickly taken by Taylor. Trusty plays it square to Carter Vickers, who brings it forward up towards the halfway line and then out to the right-hand side for Nicholas Kuhn. He clips it forward, looking for Ida. Astley has to keep his eye on it at the edge of the box, heads it away. Engels will go and try and latch onto that. Donnelly gets in the way though, and Robertson brings it clear, and then Silla down the left-hand side is Larkesh poking it forward for Adewumi. Carter Vickers makes the challenge, comes off Adewumi last. It's a Celtic throw-in, and they've been pretty unrelenting in this second period, Michael.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lift in the intensity from Celtic, and then obviously the fact that they get 2 goals in quick succession as well. It just adds to the momentum that they've built up. Yeah, I mean, for Dundee, they're probably just hoping that Celtic start to just take their foot off the accelerator a wee bit. But they've made substitutions who, when you look at Bernardo and Kuhn, 2 players that you would imagine are going to want to get involved here and try and get on the score sheet as well.
Yeah, Bernardo's lost his place as a regular starter in recent weeks, so he'll be looking to try and make a big impression on his manager. Here's Carter Vickers in possession, plays it forward for Engels on the halfway line, back with Trusty. There's Bernardo just sitting in that Callum McGregor role. Here's Hatate left-hand side for Maida. A couple of goals in the second period for him. Back with Taylor, and now Bernardo. Back to Carter Vickers, just about 10 yards inside the Dundee half. 4-0 Celtic lead. We've played 66 minutes in this Premiership tie. Carter Vickers back out to Johnston, and then infield to Bernardo. Celtic just playing keep ball for the moment. Now it's Trusty for Greg Taylor. Hatate now back to Taylor. Silla trying to close down, but Dundee just can't get anywhere near the ball as Taylor helps it out to the right-hand side to Johnston now. Johnston powering forward. Robertson trying to get back with him. It's out to Kuhn, right-hand side. Comes in off that flank into the feet of Hatate. Hatate back to Taylor, 25 yards from goal. And Celtic found a shooting position here. Hatate into the area, away by Portales. Controlled by Silla, tries to stay composed on the edge of the box, and he's fouled by Kuhn in the end, and he'll get a free kick just in the edge of the box. 67 on the clock. It's Celtic 4, Dundee 0. Free kick is Dundee's, just on the edge of their own penalty area. Celtic with a record of having won 19 of the last 21 home league games. Well, I think you can make that 20 of 22 since the 2-0 defeat by Hearts here now well over a year ago, December 2023, and look pretty imperious in front of their own fans. Here's Greg Taylor, midway inside his own half, pokes it back to Trusty, closed down by Murray, off Murray for a throw-in on this near side, which Greg Taylor will take just at the midway point in the second period. Celtic already added a couple of goals to the 2 they had by half-time.
I think Schlupp and Johnny Kenny could be making an appearance now. Brendan Rodgers just called them back in.
Yeah, Schlupp on loan from Crystal Palace, looking to make an impact as Engels gets inside the penalty area, but it's a poor ball, certainly by his standards, from the right-hand side, lofts it way out of play in the end. Much too much on it from the Belgian. There's going to be a couple of more changes from Dundee before Celtic can make their changes. We're going to have Scott Tiffany coming on and Seb Palmer holding. Simon Murray makes way, and Adewumi's the other player. So double change up front for Dundee. It's been a pretty thankless task for that strike pairing of Murray and Adewumi so far this evening.
Yeah, not the most enjoyable game for those two in particular. They fed off very little scraps indeed, and they've just been chasing shadows basically.
Celtic subs still wait to come on as the ball is launched into their half, but Carter Vickers, as usual, in control of it. And now it's Engels in the halfway line, right hand side. Turns one way then the other, and then plays it out to the left, arrows it onto the boot of Greg Taylor. And now it's Maida left hand side, clips that in, looking for Hatate. It was well won though by Astley, and then knocked forward by McGee and picked up by Tiffany. But Celtic working hard again to win it back inside the Dundee half, and then played all the way back by Engels to Schmeichel. Trusty for Bernardo, and back to his goalkeeper once more. As Michael said, Johnny Kenny waiting to come along alongside Jeffrey Schlupp, who will make his debut here at Celtic Park, having joined on deadline day on loan from Crystal Palace and started a game for them this season. But getting in on the action, pretty nice to make your debut in front of a capacity home crowd and your side leading 4-0. As Hatate picks up at the edge of the box. Now it's Taylor just at the edge of the penalty area, looking to find a way through. Back now with Engels, just manages to find room. Oh, it's exceptional from Arne Engels. The trajectory of that shot looked like it was headed a yard or two over the crossbar, and somehow it dipped at the last minute over Trevor Carson, but in off the underside of the bar. It is just out of this world from Arne Engels and Celtic. It's Celtic 5, Dundee 0.
I mean, I'm not sure if it takes a deflection or not, because the dip on it is quite incredible. I mean, what a goal. What a goal from Engels. I've got to say, he's been good. He's been, as this game's gone on, I'm just watching the replay here to see if it does take a deflection. I think it does, yeah. It does take a deflection off the Dundee player that's just in front of him. Is it Mo Silla? Yeah, I think it does take a bit of a deflection, but even still, it's a great strike from him. He's been good, Arne Engel, and as the game's gone on, I think he's got better and better. And that's just another great goal for Celtic, for Arne Engel, sorry.
Yeah, Greg Taylor and Aramida are the players being replaced by Jeffrey Schlupp. And Johnny Kenny, who comes on to take the striker's role. And Jeffrey Schlupp, as I mentioned, on loan from Palace. He's actually not started a game under Oliver Glasner since he took over at Crystal Palace. Here he is getting his first touch in a Celtic jersey on at left back. He's a pretty versatile player, can pretty much play anywhere on that left flank, but clearly with Celtic losing Alex Baye at left back, he'll provide cover there.
And I'm pretty sure he's over the moon. Not getting a look in at Crystal Palace and then getting a loan move in the second half of the league campaign to a far bigger club, and he can go and play some football.
Well, Celtic have just been ruthless tonight against the Dundee side, who are staring down the barrel potentially of yet another hammering. Already 5, and with still 17 minutes plus stoppage time to play. It It's every chance that they could lose 6 or more. It's been another chastening game for Dundee, who have had plenty of plaudits over the course of this season and last.
You know what the crazy thing is here, Al, as well? I don't think you could say that Dundee have been terrible, and you wouldn't even say that Celtic have been incredible either.
Yeah, no, I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah, it's 5-0. There's probably about 20 minutes left when you include injury time. This could quite easily be a few more.
There's a free kick given against Rio Hatate there for a foul on Silla. It'll be a free kick to Dundee about 20 yards inside their own half, which I don't think they'll be in any great hurry to take, because they know that as soon as they get the ball rolling again, Celtic are pretty much going to win it back, and it'll be yet another attack to face. So Trevor Carson with this free kick from midway inside his own half, plays it down the left channel. Dundee looking to try and save a bit of face as Schlupp turns it back to Schmeichel. I guess they probably, I didn't check this, I guess they probably played, in fact they both played for Leicester in the title winning season, didn't they? So
they did indeed, yep. Schlupp's got a league winners medal down the road.
Yep, he has. As Hatate threads up forward for Maida on the left hand side, cut almost touched in at the near post by Kenny. That was a pretty deft effort from Kenny in a tight angle to try and help it across goal, but into the side netting in the end from the Irish striker. And Celtic look like they can score pretty much every time they go up the park just at the moment.
Well, they do now, yeah. I think they've just knocked all the hope out of Dundee. It's now verging on despair. And when you've got guys like Maida that just don't stop, they're constantly probing and causing problems. He's just an absolute nightmare to play against, especially when bodies are tiring a little bit.
Ball played forward by Larkesh. Carter Vickers is there though, and then Engels back to Trusty. 15 minutes left in the 90. Celtic leading by 5-0. There's a loose pass there from Hatate, straight out of play on the halfway line. It's not too much has got wrong for Celtic over the course of this evening. That's now 72 goals they've scored in the league this season, and this their 25th game. Only in the invincible season in 16-17 have Celtic had more points at this stage under Brendan Rodgers, which tells you something about how efficient they have been over the course of this year. Here's Tiffany picking up on a bit of loose play from Carter Vickers, waits for support, plays it up to Seb Palmer Holden there, looking for a consolation here up against Trusty. It's deflected off Trusty and behind for a goal kick. I thought it was going to be a corner. I thought it came off Trusty, and so too did Seb Palmer Holden, but Celtic get the goal kick.
That looked a bit bizarre. Yeah, it seemed as if it was quite clearly a corner kick. I don't think Palmer Holden protested too much, but I mean it looked quite clearly as if it was a corner kick.
Here's Schlupp back to Trusty, and now Hatate on the halfway line, coming forward down the left. Kenny makes a run, but he's gone offside, so Hatate checks back, and now it's Maida left, and Schlupp. Maida back to Trusty on the halfway line. Now Schlupp once more, seen plenty of the ball since coming on. Tries to play it forward, looking for the run of Hatate. That's cut out. Silla's lost out, but he's fouled in the process of doing so, and it will be a free kick to Dundee, just about 10 or 15 yards inside their own half. 13 to play. Dundee trailing by 5-0 here at Celtic Park. They lost 2-0 earlier in the season here, but this one has been a really punishing evening for them, and their former player Luke McCowan, who got the opening goal last time the sides met, is going to come on for the closing stages to replace Rio Hatate. And Celtic Park rises to acclaim another of their real heroes, Rio Hatate. His range of passing is just a joy to behold, and he takes a well-earned rest for the closing 12 minutes plus stoppage time as Luke McCowan comes on to try and make an impact. He's another one who's been a good signing for Celtic. He really has made an impact since coming in the door from Dens Park in the previous transfer window. Kenny working hard to win the ball back for Celtic. Clearly has the work ethic required to get into this Brendan Rodgers side, and Schlupp knocks it back to Kasper Schmeichel. Schmeichel immediately out to Johnston. Johnston plays it square to Trusty. Now it's Schlupp just inside his own half to the left to McCowan. Just comes in on the left hand side of that midfield trio for Celtic. Silla cuts it out, but then Engels comes back. Silla's won it once more, and then he's dragged to the ground yet again. It'll be another free kick for Dundee, this time just inside the Celtic half. And it's been a tough couple of games for Dundee. Certainly you wouldn't have seen the 6-0 hiding from Hearts coming, but this kind of scoreline, we did ponder pre-match whether it was a possibility, and Celtic are pretty much able to inflict this kind of scoreline on any team, as McCowan chases down his former teammate Finn Robertson, who has to go back to Trevor Carson. Carson launches it long from inside his penalty area up to the halfway line. Palmer Holden beaten in the jump well by Schlupp. That's a really good leap by Schlupp, and then Maida's nicked it from Robertson. Maida coming forward, slips it for McCowan, left hand side of the penalty there. Celtic looking for number 6 behind Maida, comes off the heel of Silla, and it's Engels who's also on a hat-trick now. Plays it square for Johnston, takes a touch, nudges it to the right. Nicholas Kuhn across goal, cut out at the near post by Portales. Kuhn has picked it up once more though, right hand side. Celtic have already smelt blood, more of it in the air in the closing 10 minutes here at Celtic Park. Dundee managed to get the ball clear for the moment, out for a throw and over on the far side. 80 minutes on the clock, Celtic leading by 5 goals to 0. As Johnston takes the throw in for Trusty. Now it's Schlupp on the edge of the centre circle for McCowan. McCowan out to Maida, closed down by Mulligan, back with McCowan. Inside to Bernardo and out to the right hand side for Johnston, just outside the penalty area, as Kuhn picks up, gets it back to Johnston, and now back with the German onto the left foot, curls one. Oh, spectacular once again. The Celtic goals just keep getting better and better, and Nicholas Kuhn says, anything you lot can do, I can do better, as he curls it beyond Trevor Carson to make it Celtic 6, Dundee 0.
That's a great goal. Not just the finish, but lovely bit of link-up play between Kuhn and Alistair Johnson. I mean, Trevor Carson's down on his knees in the end. He's in on that. I'm just looking at the replay there. I mean, Trevor Carson just watches it, goes in. He's got no chance of getting anywhere near it. That is an absolutely brilliant goal from Nicholas Kuhn. And as I was saying before, the competition is stiff, particularly with Jota coming in on those wide areas now, and Kuhn's coming at the park, and he's come up with a big moment, make it 6-0. Great goal. But I tell you, I'm just talking about the link up. Alistair Johnson's just making that run on the inside channel, and Kuhn flicks it around the corner to him, and he keeps moving himself, gets the ball back. I mean, just the interchange between them there, absolutely brilliant. And 6-0, and you wouldn't bet against them scoring more.
Yeah, it was absolute textbook Nicholas Kuhn, that goal. Here's Tiffany though, the other end. Seb Palmer Holden gets on the end of the cross, but he heads over the crossbar, and that is a 17th goal of the season for Kuhn. He's into double figures in the Premiership, number 10 in the league for the German, but we've seen him curl them in like that, but always a joy to behold when he just gets it absolutely perfect. As Michael said, absolutely no chance for Trevor Carson. Half a dozen Dundee have shipped for the second game in a row. It is pretty dismal reading for them and their fans, and it could yet get worse as Maida gets into the box, tries to play it across the 6-yard box, and Kuhn wasn't too far away from making it number 7 in there as well.
Maida is absolutely electric, and again, just the timing of his movement is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. you're playing against a back five, which at times, you expect is difficult to get back, but Celtic have done it brilliantly so many times this game. And Maeda's a perfect example, for front men, wide men in particular. Just that timing of the movement, dropping the shoulder, coming short and spinning in behind, just creating that little bit of space for himself.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's been very little to complain about for Celtic over the course of this evening's work, and still 6.5 minutes to play. They're searching for more goals. They're on the verge, actually, of breaking another record. They won the last 7 home league games by an aggregate of 23-0. At the moment, that's gone up to 29-0. They last won more in a row without conceding back in March 2014. That was 9. This will make it number 8. So a 10-year record is close to being matched.
You've just thrown in a load of numbers at me that...
It's basically it's all good for Celtic.
Yeah, well, I sort of gathered that, yeah. Yeah, there's 9, 10, 8. Well, aye, just they're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
They're 6-0 up. And they could be even more.
Here's Carter Vickers picking up from Bernardo on the halfway line, out to Kuhn right hand side. 5.5 minutes to play. Celtic half a dozen goals to the good as Schlupp has it, plays it short to Engels, gets it back once more, and then Engels again, left hand side, midway inside the Dundee half. McGee's with him.
This second half performance has been very good. Clearly scoring the goals early on has just given them that little bit extra impetus, but you could see early on the manager had obviously said tempo needs to go up a little bit. And competition's going to be stiff for those Bayern Munich games as well.
Here's Maida, left-hand side. He won't be able to play in that first one. Breaks back for Kenny. His shot is charged down. Maida still suspended for the first leg here. Next Wednesday we'll have that live for you right here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland. And indeed the return leg the following Tuesday. Behind for a goal kick to Dundee, and some rare respite for them. Trevor Carson. I mean, 12 goals in 2 games, poor goalkeeper. You actually can't really fault him for any of the ones that have gone in tonight, can you?
No. 6, I'm trying to rattle my brain through all 6 of them. There's been some great finishes as well. So, no, I don't think you can. I mean, even, obviously, there's a penalty at the first one, but then Ida's goal just before half-time was a great finish. It was a brilliant finish. And then we've seen Maeda's header round the back post, couldn't do anything about that. His chip over the keeper, brilliant. Engel, I mean, oh my word, I think I'm actually going through them all here.
I know.
Ida's first was a great finish. And then Maeda's chip, Engel's goal, and Kuhn. I mean, 4 of them in particular were absolutely top drawer goals. And the Maeda header was a brilliant, ball from Jota. And a penalty kick, no. I mean, Trevor Carson can comfortably come off the park and say, I had no chance with any of them.
I doubt he'll want to watch it back on Sports Scene tonight at 10:40, but the rest of you can. And some of these goals are very much worth tuning in for, that Celtic have notched tonight. Dundee have got a free kick midway inside their own half. Trevor Carson out of his goal to take it. 3 minutes left as some of the Celtic fans begin to make their way to the exit. Certainly the 3 points were wrapped up pretty much by half-time. That injury time goal from Adam Ida probably was enough to put the game beyond Dundee, and certainly the 3rd and 4th that came early in the second period.
Tony Dockett's got a wee job in his hands though, to just keep the players sane, because they're going to be coming away from this feeling like they're battered and bruised,
yeah.
and definitely going to be fragile. And you talk about the game, Airdrie in the cup.
Yeah.
Airdrie have started to pick up a little bit, and that becomes a little bit of a banana skin potentially, because same sort of thing as talking about here. If they don't start well, then all of these negative thoughts quickly come back into their head.
Yeah.
And then you look past that, and the Aberdeen game at Dens Park is monumental for both sides now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves me correctly, that Dundee put 6 past Airdrie themselves in the League Cup earlier this season, so not such a bad thing that they're getting them. But you're right, Airdrie have won a couple just in the last couple of weeks. First league games they've won since the opening game of the season, to just give them a glimmer of hope at the bottom of the Championship. Here comes Celtic down the right-hand side, looking for a 7th goal of the evening. It's Kuhn dancing in from the right, finding the pass beyond Sloop, but Maida gets it back to Sloop inside the penalty, left-hand side, cuts it back, might come for Kuhn once more, charged down, claimed for handball against Jordan McGee there. The referee had a good look at it. He wants the VAR at least to have a chance to have a look at it, because he's asked for the throw-in to be taken again or just delayed. But Jordan McGee kind of threw himself at it, desperate to keep the ball out, and the check is quickly over, no penalty. So it remains Celtic 6, Dundee 0 with a minute to play plus stoppage time. Dundee will be hoping the fourth officials board shows a small number when it's shown in the next few seconds, as Bernardo picks up just inside his own half, plays it square to Johnston, back to Carter Vickers, and out to the right hand side to Nicholas Kuhn, who added that wonderful 6th. Here's Johnston ahead of him, early ball in, he was looking for Kenny, it was cut out on its way through, and then hammer clear by Robertson. Forward comes Silla, who hasn't stopped running, he hasn't given up all hope despite the scoreline facing his side, as Larkesh can't find a way through that Celtic backline, and it's back with Trusty, and now Schmeichel, who won't want to lose his clean sheet, has to just hastily knock that clear, and now it's picked up by Sloop. It's 3 minutes to be added on. That looked like it came off the arm of Ryan Astley. It's out of play. It'll just be a throw-in to Celtic.
Celtic's number 38, David Maida.
Maida given the sponsors man of the match, and well, there's a few candidates I suppose, but I mean, he has been fantastic once again. As Tiffany picks up, tries to lay it into the path of Mulligan, but Bernardo read it and finds Sloop down the left-hand side, up to Kenny. Fouled, was he, by Ashley? No, not in the referee's view. Seemed to come in through the back of the striker, but the referee allows play to continue, with Dundee in possession now on the far side, on the halfway line. It's Robertson, back to Donnelly, and Donnelly all the way back to Trevor Carson, gets it, tries to play it back to Donnelly once more, but Donnelly was on his heels, and it's out of play over on the far side. A couple of minutes left then of injury time, with Celtic leading by 6-0. A real champions type performance this from Celtic over the course of the 90+ minutes, as Kuhn once again weaves his way in from the right hand side. Is there a bit of crowning glory here for Celtic? It's back with Sloop. Well, if he could net, it really would be, but just over the top from Sloop from about 20 yards. If he'd managed to get a debut goal, that really would have put the icing on the cake, but just a yard or so over Trevor Carson's crossbar, and it remains Celtic 6, Dundee 0. Trevor Carson, been another long night for him, preparing to take this goal kick. Dundee will have to go away and lick their wounds. Celtic will continue their defence of the Scottish Cup here on Saturday night, as Portales is in trouble here against Kenny, but he recovers well, the Mexican, to knock that clear. Looked like Kenny might just have nicked in behind him there as we enter the final minute of injury time. Celtic leading by 6-0 as Larkesh picks up and finds Tiffany. Back now with Silla in the centre circle, out to the right hand side. Is there a consolation here for Dundee? It's Mulligan for Tiffany, back with Mulligan into the penalty area, tries to get it across goal. Trusty's in the way, behind for a Dundee corner. Good move from Dundee, but even at that, there wasn't a goal at the end of it. But they'll get a corner kick in the closing seconds here. 6-0 Celtic.
Yeah, it was a very good move from Dundee. They worked that well, side to side, and stretching Celtic, getting in behind on the right hand side. Tiffany plays it off Bernardo after the short corner had been taken. It's going to be another corner
right-hand side for Dundee in the very last few seconds of the 3 minutes that were initially added on. Can Dundee just put a little blemish on Celtic's defensive record here from the corner kick? It's Robertson from the right-hand side. Looks like he's going to put this one into the box. There's a bit of stuff going on inside that 6-yard box. I think that's Engels hitting the deck, and Colin Stephen goes in to just have a word with a couple of players for the pushing and shoving. This will pretty much be the last act of the game once this corner is taken, you would imagine.
A bit of stuff.
A bit of stuff. I couldn't think of another word, Michael. I mean, it is my job to think of words, but I've just run out of them. As Robertson prepares to send in this corner kick from the right-hand side. And it comes near post ball. It's headed away by Kenny, and Celtic might get away in the counter-attack. Bernardo lifts it to Kuhn, and now it's McCowan. Tiffany trying to get back at him. McCowan at the edge of the penalty area tries to put it through the legs of Tiffany, who matched them well, to be fair to the forwards. And there is the final whistle. And it has just been a majestic performance from the champions and league leaders, and another abject evening for Dundee, who lose 6 goals for the second game on the bounce. A really tough night for them, but take nothing away from the efforts of Celtic, who were 2-0 up by the interval. 15-minute penalty awarded to them after a VAR review, and Arne Engels dispatched that, and then in injury time in the first half, Aramida smashed home his 4th goal in 3 games to make it 2-0, and really a huge blow to Dundee that was, coming when it did into the second half. And Celtic really came out of the traps in the second period, and were quickly, within an hour, were 4-0 up as Maida scored twice within the space of a few minutes. First time getting on the end of a beautiful Jota cross, the diving header past Trevor Carson, and then shot from the edge of the penalty area, as it was a terrific move from left back from Celtic. Eventually the Engels ball forward found Maida, and he clipped it over Trevor Carson to make it 4-0. On came Nicholas Kuhn, and he was to get in on the act only after Arne Engels had made it 5. His shot, a tipping effort, it actually took a slight deflection off Mo Silla and clipped the underside of the bar to make it 5-0. And then Kuhn, the substitute, curled in another beauty from the angle of the box to make it 6. A wonderful evening's work for Celtic, who just go from strength to strength. It finishes at Celtic Park. Celtic 6, Dundee 0.
Football from